Hey folks, it's Dane here at JONAH Guitars, and today, in my never-ending series of things I probably didn't think about turning the camera on for, so I got a little bit into this, and I thought, why not, you know? So here we go again, things that I don't think about turning the camera on for until now. So. Got a Taylor Big Baby here. Taylor Big Baby, it's called. Has a bolt-on neck, and if I can get into the camera in the right area, you can see how there's no neck heel on that. It's just, well, maybe you can. Yeah, there you are. It's just like an electric guitar neck, and it is in fact bolted in, or it's not currently bolted in, but that's the way it's supposed to be. So I've just got it laying here on the bench with the neck, and it is loose. Okay, so it has these 2-inch, 2.5-inch, looks like just regular old sheetrock screws in the thing, which I thought was kind of, when I started backing it out, I thought, boy, that just looks like a sheetrock screw, and sure enough, that's really what it is. 2 of them, and it's black. And you have a shim in the neck pocket, just like, let me, I'll go ahead and pull this neck out of here and show you what the neck pocket looks like. Left the strings on. I'm going to change the strings, but when you're doing adjustments like this, it's nice just to leave the originals on, and then you can reassemble the thing when needed. Anyway, so here we go. You got a shim. It just drops in here, and it sets. It's a little proud of the edge here. When you get tension, it's probably exactly the same, and it's definitely proud of the back edge of this. It says 12 on it. When I measure it, it actually measures more like 10 thousandths. So just pop it back in there so it has a place to be instead of wandering around. Well, all right. Close enough for the moment. So yeah, when I mic'd it, I can go ahead and do that. Let's tweak my camera all over the place. So there we go. All right, so we're gonna just mic the thin edge, and we're looking at 77. You know, you can't. It's gonna be upside down. 77.5 thousandths, and I flip it around, and we actually have 85.5, so it's not 12 thousandths. It's actually less than 10 thousandths. 77, 85, more like 8 thousandths difference from one end to the other. So I was online just checking to see if I could find, you know, the shims that are made for this unit, so I could just order a shim and pop it in there. What I found, and I like this guy a lot, so I'm not saying anything negative about this guy or his channel. T. Woodford, or Ted Woodford, guy up in Canada, is just an excellent repairman. If you haven't checked him out and you like guitar repair videos, go and check him out. He needs my endorsement for you to go. He's already got, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of subs, but you won't be disappointed if you're into this sort of thing. It's very, very thorough, very knowledgeable. Does a lot of history regarding the instruments he works on and where they came from and how they developed. So anyway, fun channel. So what I found though was he was doing the same thing. He was doing a neck reset. We'll call it a reset for lack of a. Basically, it's a neck adjustment, you know, I would say, because you're not steaming out a dovetail joint or anything and having to really screw with the geometry of all of that fitting. But he decided to actually just take the back of the neck. I just showed you the pocket, but the back of the neck, and he just planed about a millimeter, ended up planing about 1.5 millimeters off the back of the neck on an angle. I'm not going to do that. He's probably more confident and more competent in his planing skills. And so I'm going to just make another shim, or I'm going to make a shim in addition to the shim that's in here. And now I've got my strings all tangled up. We won't worry about that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave this shim in the pocket, and I'm going to just plane / sand another shim that goes from 0 here to about 1.5 millimeters here. And I'm choosing his numbers because he actually started out with the exact same measurements that I'm starting out with. If I wanted to, I could just stack up several layers of masking tape on the back side of this shim and test fit it and see if my angle looked good there, and then just match that. But if I'm going to have to screw it back together, I'll screw it back together with one that's probably fatter than I need. And then if I have to take it apart again, I'll take it apart and continue to sand on the shim that I'm adding. So I'll get set up. I'll move the camera over there just so you can kind of see how I'm going to go about doing that shim. I make them all the time when I'm doing resets on, in a regular dovetail type setup. Shims for underneath the fretboard to the top. If you have a lot of times, well, that's a rabbit trail. A lot of times you'll get a really bad bend at the end of a fretboard when you do a glue and neck reset. And so you shim it to straighten the board out a little bit. But anyway, so I'm used to making the type of shim I'm going to make. And I'll set up and show you what I'm talking about. Right back. Okay, we're back in. So I just recently bought this marking gauge. It's the typical wheeled marking gauge, not one of the big clunky block things. These look, from what I've seen, these look like they'd be fairly easy to use. This one happens to have a flat spot on it so it doesn't roll off your bench. I didn't have to add that. It also came with some extra wheels and screws, so 2 of each. I'm gonna have to actually make myself use it to get used to using it, because it's nothing I've ever used in woodworking. I've always just used a razor, sharp pencil, a razor, a straight edge or whatever, like that. So anyway, this happened to be called Clark Brothers. Got it through Amazon. I think it was about 23, 24 bucks. I thought that was a pretty good deal. It's, steel and brass. I saw some less expensive ones that were, only just marginally cheaper. So I decided to get this one. So I got this set at approximately 2 millimeters. What is that in real math? I don't know. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give myself a straight line across here with the marking gauge. It's the first time I've actually even used this thing. And I'll probably go back in with my pencil and just make it darker, although I can see the line, but you probably can't in the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and bandsaw this out. And then what we're going to do is just stick it right down here to the table, and we'll move the camera for that. And then I will leave the 2 millimeters in the back and plane off the rest of it to a point. And I'll probably actually do that as I bandsaw. I'll probably take a little of the extra meat off of, from here down toward nothing. I do really need to just check the length of the pocket. Otherwise, it'd be kind of pointless to make it 0 or 2 millimeter up to 0 for the full length of this. That's not what we need. So anyway, as I go to the bandsaw, I will swing around the bench and see how long the original shim is. I also don't see any point in making it longer than the pocket or the shim, because I got no support past that shim anyway, because it was proud of the back side of that pocket. All right, I just sprayed this with spray adhesive. I'm just gonna stick it down right here on the corner of the bench. I think we're pretty good. This is all right. This is longer than I need, and I ended up using a different piece of wood because I miscut the first one. Anyway, and what I'm going to do is find out how deep my plane is set here. Looks like it's... Maybe my glue isn't going to work. I might have to spray both the bench and the table. Let's see. Or, yeah, the shim and the bench, both. I just have to wait for this to dry. The reason I'm using this over the masking tape, or even just double stick tape, is that I didn't want to add any height to this. This way I can just use my calipers and measure right down to the bench to see what my overall height is on the high end. If I have, yeah, I'm going to have to do both. Anyway, and I can come back here with just a wash of not mineral spirits, naphtha or acetone or something, just to melt this glue, and it'll just pop off of there. Okay, I usually use masking tape because it seems like the masking tape separates better when you get really thin. Like I said, the reason I stated is, you know, with the measuring, but anyway, I don't even know. Can't complete my thought. Chip stuck in there. So I'm going the wrong way on this maple. I looked around to see if I could find another, just a solid piece of mahogany, and this is what I came up with. Again, I think I used recently something else from the base neck, the 335 base neck. Some offcut from that. It's the same thing here. I'm okay with that. Definitely going the wrong way on the grain. I'm just going to sand it. Okay, so now I'm about 1 3/4 of a millimeter over here. This is why I chose to make a shim rather than plane the end of the neck. I don't like settling, so if I planed the end of the neck and I didn't get it quite right, I'd end up having to settle. Where here, if I don't like it, I can just start over and make another shim that I'm happy with. Just use acetone. Well, okay, so the shim is in. I worked it down. I ended up with that shim being at 15 thousandths to nothing, of course. And by the time you get 15 thousandths to nothing, the narrow or the pointed end of the shim was like paper. I ended up with, and here's what's the important part, is I'm just a fuzz over. I should move this to where you can see it. Fuzz over 4/64ths here, not even 4/64ths and a half, just a fuzz over 4/64ths, and a fuzz under on the high E. Anyway, I don't have my strings yet. I ordered strings. I had a few guitars actually, and I don't know how, but I ran out. So I try to keep plenty of that sort of thing on hand. The other thing is that the nut height is on the high side. Basically, if you fret at the 3rd fret and you check your gap here, I've got way more gap than I need. I could get a feeler gauge out and tell you what it is, but it's, if we're shooting for around 18 thousandths, it's way high. So I'm going to do a little filing on the nut, and then when I get, sorry about this chair, I've been apologizing for this chair for years, and I still haven't gotten another one. I'm going to file the nut in, and then when I get strings, I'll go ahead and string it up, and it'll be done. Things I didn't do anything to, I didn't adjust the saddle whatsoever. As far as the height, I could have left the neck where it was and taken meat out of the saddle. That was pointless, I think, when you have such an easy neck to set, and then tedious, but easy. And then the other thing was I didn't adjust the truss rod. And the truss rod on this thing is probably almost straight. The neck got about 6 thousandths of relief in the neck. I don't have any rattling. I didn't actually play up the neck just to make sure, but I was pretty sure I wasn't going to. I might have done this the other day because I was pretty confident that everything played clean. And it's not going to change when I lower the nut action, because once you fret it, the nut action is out of the picture. So unless you've got a rattle with it open because the slot's too low, then you're not going to affect it with the nut slot height. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get the nut filed in, and I'll get new strings on it, and this will be done. And very happy with what we got here. So good. Really super good action. It was about 8 when it came in, so it was twice as high as it is. So that'll make a big difference. And I'm not even gonna. I'll check the intonation, but it's not gonna make any major difference. I mean, the new strings is what you want to intonate with. I can't actually check it because I don't have my tuner up, but it sounds good. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine with that. These come with, intonated or compensated saddles in them, and so it should be pretty close. But I'll double check all that before I let it go out the door. Anyway, that's it for this one, folks. The Big Baby Taylor actually sounds surprisingly good, considering it's got old strings on it, and it's just got this weird bolt-on. I'm trying to show it to you, but there you go. Weird bolt-on neck joint. Anyway, it works. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. All of those things actually help the famous or infamous YouTube algorithm. Even if you just tell me you hate me in the comments, that actually makes the algorithm happy. So have your way. Take care, folks. See you on the next one, which who knows? I've got a bunch of stuff in right now. Anyway, I'm rambling. Take care, folks.